we're calling to do the beginning stuff, beginning voting things first, okay?
Alright.
Scott, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order at this time. We got everything going, Colin, cameras are going, got the or the recorder going. Okay. Start with roll call, Morgan.
Brian Thompson,
Here.
Scott Davis,
Here.
Brandon Sunbury, Ryan Williams,
Here.
Matt Lorenzo,
Here.
Colin Smith,
Here.
Morgan Bob, here.
Thank you, Morgan. Okay, we've got minutes from the last board meeting are printed. Is there a motion to accept them?
I move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, first thing we need to do tonight is amend the agenda. I've got a couple things we need to add. So I'd like to add an ag contract discussion. And the second thing is Foster Brothers and the haunted house, JC Haunted House proposal. So I'd like a motion to add those two items to our agenda. We'll put them first and then move on with our meeting. Again, having the budget at the very end, so Scott will be here.
I move that we add these two to the budget for vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. So we'll start, with the, ag contract discussion. I think we've got 3 farmers here now. I will be not involved in this discussion or involved in this voting. So, we wanna go ahead with the proposal. I think you've got it there at your station to review. So, Ben, you wanna go ahead and discuss that?
I'm gonna stand up, that's all right. On the podium.
Ask Scott if he can hear you.
Yeah, hey Scott, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thanks for joining us. No, so what I have though in front of you here, essentially, I'm here with John Pollard and James Wishmeyer here as well. And, we're coming to you today collectively and in agreement with one another to discuss the contract of the new rent renewal. So like, since the last contract is through the end of this year, and then the next contract would theoretically pick up in 2026. We have a proposal for you, and it's also some figures and facts that might help you guide in your decisions. What we would like to propose is a contract very similar to what we have. So essentially, the bonus is figured off 1/3 of the gross farm production. And then also factors in the price determination that we worked on and adjusted a few years ago. And so what that means is the gross farm production is a factor of price times the yield of the crop, and we figure that, and we base the rent based upon that. There are a couple of adjustments, and I've got them itemized below there that I'd like you to look at. The first one, number 1, would be we would propose a 17.6% increase in the rent floor. So what was before a floor of 170 would be moved to 200. I would point you to the second page of that packet, and there is a publication there from Purdue. This is the most up-to-date survey that they do. It shows down that I got it highlighted in orange, but we're in the southeast area, and for just as an average type of land classification, the rent for that would be 197. Essentially what this floor does, it's not really applicable a lot of years, if any years, because we've always been above that by quite a bit, but it does raise the safety net, like if prices were to fall off, if production for some reason, a drought or whatever, were to be way off, that it provides a good stable return nonetheless. Item number 2 that we're asking for in our proposal would be a cap rental rate. And so as opposed to like the floor down here, the cap would be an absolute maximum of what would be paid. And what this does, this is an ask of us as farmers. They're commonplace in revenue sharing agreements like we have, but it allows us to do a better job of budgeting, as well as assist in marketing decisions. At the same time, it still allows for good revenue sharing potential with the airport. This proposal is well above the Indiana state average for top farm ground. So this is, well producing farm ground, it's that cap is above that to allow that profit to still be shared in good years, we have good prices, good revenue. Also on that sheet there, I also have, we figured a simple average of the per acre payment over our past 5 years. The best indication of future performance is past performance. And so I've included those below. You'll see those are well above the base rate, and only on 1 year would it have exceeded a proposed cap rental rate, which would be 2022. Again, I've got the enclosed, I've got the Purdue publication there, and then on the third page, just for your reference, I have kind of the paragraph that would maybe include those changes. Those are highlighted there. And then I've got some other data, but I mean, I wanted to keep it simple and certainly relay that we appreciate the partnership of the airport, and you know, we feel that we do a good job, and we try to care for the ground properly. We realize that farm ground is an investment, is a big investment. At the airport, it brings in a lot of revenue, and that, you know, it needs to be compensated justly. At the same time, long-term revenues need to be taken care of properly to make sure that they are continue to provide a good return in many years to come. And so, but I'd be happy to answer any questions or any clarifications that you might have. Certainly, Scott, shout out if you need something as well.
Yeah, you were saying that the earlier parts that you were talking about, those are just the change, just the modifications to the numbers that we've had in the past.
Yes, so it's essentially the agreement would be very similar to the ones that we had in the past, just making some adjustments based upon the current landscape of agriculture, providing an increase there in that base rental rate.
Okay. That was the only question I had.
A motion that we move with the farm rental agreement to approve with a 17.6% increase in the rent floor from 170 to 200 an acre, and a cap rental rate of 325 an acre.
I second that.
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained. Thank you, guys. Okay, the next item is Foster Brothers. Scott, again, you don't, I'll try to explain this to you. You don't have the proposal. It's from Paul. Yeah, it's from Paul Foster. So Colin and I met with Paul probably 2.5, 3 weeks ago and looked at the JC Haunted House. He came back with a proposal for us that we looked at the building, and you know the repair it's in, the poor repair it's under, and all the junk laying around and stuff. And we walked through it, and Paul said, well, the foundation looks good, and the vertical supports on the sidewalls look good, but it appears that there's probably asbestos in those walls. The roof needs help, and the roof needs replaced. A lot of the joists and stuff need replaced also up on the roof. But he said they look for work like this in the winter. His idea is to make the airport productive and look better also, and clean it up. So his proposal is that they will do the full. Let me read it to you, Scott. Foster Brothers LLC, Foster Brothers Properties is interested in entering into an agreement with the Seymour Airport Authority for the acquisition of the building located at 800A Avenue East, Building T512, for $0 plus ongoing rent paid to us. As part of this agreement, we are committed to cleaning and rehabilitating the property to bring the building back to a usable condition. Additionally, we will update the building's facade to match the appearance of the nearby structures located to the east, on the east side of the site. So they're gonna take that whole end off of there and make parking there toward the east. They're also gonna take the whole part off to the west that was added, make parking there, make the building basically into a warehouse, and then pay and do all the work, do all the cleanup, do all the repairs, and for the title of the building, they will do that for $0, and then they will continue to pay us industrial rent for years to come as they utilize the building.
That sounds like a win-win.
Yeah, I kinda roughly figured, more than likely there is asbestos in those walls, we looked at them, and the time period, that's what they used, because they were worried about fires. So,
Right.
asbestos removal by a government entity such as the airport, and then building something back up and cleaning it up, I mean, I see, it's gotta be over $250,000 of savings to us to have it done with this agreement instead of doing it ourselves. Do you kind of agree with that, guys, or what?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
great.
kind of,
I totally agree. I think that's one of the best offers we've had on property out there in a long time as far as, older buildings. And I think we should definitely do it.
yeah, and here's the thing too, they're ready to start on it this winter, or soon.
Yeah.
And, with S&S Diesel, they came to Colin and I, talked to us about the appearances of the buildings around there, cause they're very concerned about how things look for their business and for the airport. And so this
Right.
takes care of it right away. I mean, we couldn't do it this fast, and we could never do it nearly without spending way too much money, I'm sure of that. So, yep, we'll, so accept the motion.
I motion that we move to approve the agreement from Foster Brothers LLC as presented.
Scott,
I second.
okay, discussion, Colin, did you have something?
Yeah, for discussion, well, actually, based on this letter, it isn't considering a perfect agreement, so I suggest that the airport make an actual agreement signed by both entities, so that everybody is knowledgeable of square one, and we have record of everything.
Okay, and you can have, we gotta pay the attorney for doing something, I mean, we can't just that way.
That's just my,
Yeah.
request.
Oh, no, I 100%,
Okay,
good call. So we'll include that in the motion, Scott? Or,
Yeah,
Ryan?
That's up to Ryan, it's his motion.
I motion that we approve what Colin presented as also what was previously stated.
Okay.
So,
You good, Scott?
I'm good with that.
Okay, I'll call for a vote, all in favor say aye,
Aye.
opposed, motion carried, and I'm an aye on that.
And
Okay.
for the record, I'm coming into Seymour right now.
Okay, perfect, we'll keep dragging our feet.
Is there no BF&S tonight?
Oh, he's here, he's just sitting really quietly, I think he's playing, games on his phone.
It's probably.
Almost won.
He almost won, you messed him up, Scott. Dang it.
That Frogger's hard.
Okay, yep, we'll keep going, we're gonna go ahead with the BFNS report at this time, Scott, so. And you guys, yeah, if you need to go, you guys can go.
Yeah, I gotta go pick up the little boy. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, Paul.
All right, well, we had the two action items that were already published on the agenda, and then we're adding, one to deal with the soils on the hangar, and one on the, pending grant that should come for runway 1432. So, the first action item was the contractor's pay progress estimate number 5. The amount of $17,747.86 is on my construction on the T-Hangar project. So we're looking to pay them for work progress so far on that.
Okay, so this is the T-Hangar project, we're accepting a motion to approve that pay estimate number 5.
motion to approve the contractor's progress estimate number 5 in the amount of $17,747.86. $1,747.86 to Dunlap Construction for the T-Hanger project.
Is there a second?
Second?
Discussion, questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, next, Paul.
Yep,
whatever
and the
you
next
choose.
one was a BFS invoice, dated July 14th there for $37,432.65. And that's for the runway 1432 rehab design. That's coming out of existing AIP grant 24. You've already got a grant for that one already.
I motion to approve the BF&S invoice number 108891 dated 7/14/25 in the amount of $37,432.65 for the runway 1432 rehab design.
Is there a second?
Second?
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, and then let's just do the 1432 grant, notice of award while we're here, since we just talked about that one. So, we did, we understand that the grant should be arriving this week. It'll be electronic signature, Colin, Matt, and then, should be done there. That grant is in the amount of $1,797,315. So that will be, coming up this week. So we'd like to make a motion, to have the board make a motion to sign the notice of award and execute the construction contract upon receipt of the grant. So
This
we
is different than the one, I just signed one a week or two ago, was that a different one?
Yeah, that was a different one. That one was, AIP, so we just got, here, I'll look on this sheet, it's a little easier. Yeah, so we just got AIP 26 on the hangar, and that was, for the T-hanger. We got another one today for $168,446, magically today, when I'm gonna ask you for some more money on some soil stabilization. So, but this
Pennies
one.
from heaven.
This one is another grant. This should be, you'll note, Matt, it'll be AIP 28. And so this has your $150,000 non-primary entitlement money, and then the balance of that, basically 1.55 million is discretionary dollars from the FAA. Yeah. So.
So what we're looking for then is a motion to approve that pending receipt of that, contract. That way we can tell O'Mara, go, and then they can set their timetable for it. Instead of waiting until next month, if the grant comes in right after, like next week or something. That's all, what this is all about.
So we're just motioning to sign the notice for the award for the construction project, pending the grant.
Pending the grant.
Okay. I motion that we move to sign the notice award for the construction project pending the grant.
Is there a second?
Second?
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, grant. And I don't think they'll start this late in the season. That'll be good to get it on their schedule and they can jump right on.
It'll be a guarantee now, you know, cause you never know about these
Right,
awards until the money comes.
right.
And it's so many, it just takes the question off the mind of O'Mara, they know now, here it is.
Right. Well, and then the last item is the most frustrating item of the night. The good news is we got another $168,000 from the feds today to put towards that. I think, Collins, you signed it now, so it's
Yes.
probably in Matt's inbox now. As soon as you execute that, they'll finalize that. So that'll be available for this project. The bad news is, you know, despite investing in a geotechnical report, we did encounter soils that were, unsuitable, and that's frustrating for sure. And so, what the geotechnical report did indicate there were poor soils under there. But they did mention, and we put it in our specs exactly the way they said, the first course of action is to try to dry disc it up and air dry it. The second course of action would be to undercut it and put stone under there. So we did put in, and we followed their recommendation, there's about 10% of the surface area of the site that, they're recommended to put in the bid, so we put that in the bid. Between those two actions, we thought it was a pretty safe bet that we'd have it. Unfortunately, the muck was much more extensive than one could have imagined. When we did the runway project, it was about 18 inches, and this is more like 36 to 40 inches deep of muck. I think you've got a hard clay layer underneath there that's kind of holding the water in. All the cracked pavement on the top allows the water to get in there. It's just been sitting under there for 50 years, saturating. I think common sense would have said it was probably worse than the geotech report would have said, if we could go back in that time. Unfortunately, those reports, they qualify the heck out of it with, it is good for basically the soils that they tested. It's not necessarily good for the soils right next to it. So, unfortunately, that's just the way life goes sometimes. So, the contractor did provide us some new numbers on it. So there are some subtractions and then some additions. So the addition for the soil stabilization, so what this will be is to basically, take the top layers of soil and mix it in with cement and do what's called a cement treated soil stabilization. And this will create a thick layer of cement treated base, then you can get the construction equipment on there. The unfortunate part about this is that the airplanes that are beyond there really don't need it, but the construction equipment needs it to be able to build the building and pave it. So it's a constructability issue. Then we're gonna be able to subtract out the things we did put in there, so that would be the unclassified excavation for undercutting, the borrow material for undercutting, the number 2 stone, for undercutting. So, we've got, 26 thousandths of subtracts, 149 thousandths of adds. The net is $138,776.25 add. So, it's using up, all but 30,000 of this 168,000 you just got. But that is kind of, unfortunately, where we're stuck at if we wanna keep going. And, the clock is ticking. The soils certainly aren't gonna get better as the weather degrades into the fall, so.
I'll lead a little into it for Scott. So Scott, when All-Star removed the top layers of, old runway or old apron, concrete and asphalt and all that stuff, and they started running their equipment over it to pack it and smooth it, it started what we call pumping. And that's where, once the soil is so loose underneath that you can take your right and left foot and alternate, and you can actually pump the soil back and forth between your feet. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but soil that is unable to support structures does that.
Construction company,
So that's when we found that out. We even talked, we met Thursday, Rich saw us out there walking around, in a daze, and he came out to help, but we didn't get much done. But, we thought of different things, like, can you and when we talked to the contractor, can you loosen the soil up, aerate it? And they've done some, but you can't go 4 feet deep with aeration equipment.
can't aerate it up here.
And, we thought, well, should we have not disturbed the top and left the old stuff there and built on top of that? That wouldn't have uncovered this, but then we probably would have had issues over time with the new asphalt or new concrete cracking because the structure underneath even though it was supported on top of this muck with the old stuff, that old stuff moves around too. Over time, could've caused more trouble, so that wasn't working. We thought, do we choose the wrong location? Should we move to a different spot? And that wouldn't have helped either, because probably would've been the same soil. So, are you here?
Yes, I'm holding it.
Alright, we'll wait for the rest. So that's where we are. Rich, does that sound about right?
Sounds like you're crossing your T's.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, we got down, and Paul and Colin, and we've talked about this a lot, we talked about all the different options, and it's like, we got one option, and it's to spend almost $150,000, which really surprised me it was that expensive to do this. But the good part is, thank you, Scott, sorry about that.
Sorry for the casual apparel, fix the car.
You're here, that's the main thing. The important thing is that today I get this text from Senator Young's office, so that said that we got this $160,000 grant, so, like, did they know? It's like, I'm glad it came the day before we had to talk about this instead of tomorrow, but anyway, we feel like it's our only choice, right, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, anything else would be, it's not your only choice, but it's probably the most cost-effective choice to proceed forward.
So it could get more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, you could dig all of that soil out, and even if you just dug it out and dried it and put it back in there, the contractor estimated that would be more, to undercut it with stone would be more. If you did move to a new site, you still have about $100,000 invested in this site already.
Yeah.
That you would be, wasting, so, yeah.
So, here we go. So I guess we need to decide to spend this.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a motion to proceed, basically I mean, there would be a formal change order that would come before the board with the actual dollar amounts and so forth, but that right now they're doing nothing until, you know, you don't wanna proceed forward at risk on that large of a payment.
And we really wanna get this done before it turns into spring and gets wet, because it's already wet, I don't need it wet. So, we'll accept the motion to approve that change, which will come in the formal form in the future.
I mean, we accept the changes presented by BF&S.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Any more questions from the group? Call for a vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And here we go.
All right,
All right.
yeah, hopefully, no more surprises as we move forward.
Yeah, we don't wanna get the building halfway up and have a tornado come through an earthquake, so that's our next worry. Okay,
Well, there's builder risk for that, we should be all right on that. I did wanna report on the land release, I did get, when I talked to Riley today on the grants, she did say this is on her radar, and as soon as she gets past these grants, she's gonna push on that some more, so.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
we'll let Guardian know,
Yeah, she did,
okay,
yeah, the last written response was on August 14th, so that's still not that old, and we're thinking by the end of the calendar year, we're expecting to have
this calendar year.
this calendar year, yeah, 2020, 28.
You always gotta specify
Yeah,
which
that's-
year.
Nah.
When you're dealing with the FAA, which, who knows what year you're talking about?
Fair point.
Anything else, Paul?
No, that's all, thank you.
Any questions for Paul?
I do have a question.
Yes.
As we move forward with more ramp repair,
Yeah.
will we need to dig down, or will we be able to do, in your opinion, a different scenario for, maintaining it, re-blacktopping it?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's realistic to dig up all the old concrete out of the whole apron, just cause that's a lot of excavation. But the reality of it is if you don't, the concrete joints underneath all the asphalt are gonna continue to lock up. And then what happens is it takes the path of least resistance and flows up to the top. So I think, the answer is you could do portions of overlay, but you're gonna have to at least cut relief joints in every couple hundred feet.
Like what's gonna happen on 1432.
So what we're gonna do in 1432, and we had proposed to reconstruct it, NDOT with, initially an FA, but they didn't wanna pay for the whole reconstruct. So what we're gonna do is kind of the next best thing is every 200 feet, they're gonna cut a relief joint in there, and it'll be full depth asphalt, so that the concrete compresses on that, and that asphalt's a little more flexible. That's the theory there. So, we envision that kind of being, sections of the apron. As the money becomes available, you do a section. You wouldn't tear up all the concrete, cause that's super expensive. You'd leave that in there, cut these relief joints in, put the asphalt in, and then put another asphalt overlay on the top of it.
With what was done to 5 and 2-3 before, was a different scenario. They actually busted it up.
Yeah.
No, they didn't haul it away. They busted it up and they overlaid it.
They rubblized it, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was pulverization, full depth reclamation is what it was, with a cement treated sub base and.
Yeah, would that though kind of thing work on the apron to pulverize it instead of removal and then start there with that?
That's an option. It's a little more expensive.
Okay.
So, it's certainly an option. You just have to, based on the amount of money that they're gonna give you each time, you just do smaller areas at a
Strength the
time.
project, which would probably, I mean, we'll discuss that option
Yeah.
when it comes time, but that might make sense.
Well, we're doing something different on 14 now
Yeah.
than what we
Right.
did on 5-2-3, and my question is why? I mean, if that worked for
part of it-
5-2-3, why wouldn't, instead of going and doing this, what's different on that runway than what we've already done? And would that make it last longer?
Yes. No doubt.
It was a cost determination
Yeah.
at that time too. And I can discuss that a little bit later with you.
I can do it. I mean, the way I think it's easy for, you could buy a 50-year metal roof, or you can buy a 25-year shingle roof. And they both do the job for a while. They all both keep the water out. The metal roof is superior all day long, right? So, but if you only have enough cash today to put the shingle roof on, that's what you do. And that's kind of the FA's mindset on 1432, it being a crosswind runway. 523 was a primary runway, so they're willing to invest more money into it. 1432 is your crosswind, back out smaller aircraft, that kind of thing. And they just didn't, they don't have enough money to fix the entire nation's every need, and so they're trying to stretch it out.
And here's the thing, Rich, bottom line, we were concerned that if we pushed for that type of rehab or complete reconstruct, FAA would say, well, okay, we'll go along with that, but we're gonna shorten you by another 1,000 feet, or we're gonna cut it down to 50 foot wide or something like that. That would have been possible, if not probable, if we'd have gone that way. So by doing it this way, we don't have as long of a life, we got as long of a runway as we had before. So it's kinda like that, we were looking at that kind of choice.
But you will be back in it will last half as long, and you'll be back out there fixing it again. But-
We still got 5,500 feet.
Yep. Yep.
And we thought that was more important. But keep coming the ideas.
My bad for not being here.
No, no,
So,
we appreciate it.
good for now?
Yeah, I think so, because I'm just wondering what's gonna happen in front of my hangar now, since they encroached on digging it out over onto where my hangar is, and just sounds to me like we're gonna move forward, right?
Yeah.
So,
It'll be there and it'll be solid.
it'd be better than.
And if we do have to use your, apron or approach area to cross because of who knows what's coming next, we'll figure out how to repair any damages done, so.
We'll go ahead and get that next grant in so they can blacktop that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We'll try to keep the money coming.
Good to go. Next item, aviation fuel fund
Yeah,
report.
as of today, there's $385,470.81.
Now, have we paid, out of that fund yet for anything on the, we paid for the tank?
Mhm.
One payment or two payments?
Two.
And we got one more payment to go, when it
Right.
gets that. And then we'll have to pay the company that's setting and everything too, right?
We did have to pay, the transport company,
Okay,
and hazmat, we paid that already as well.
very good. Any questions on the aviation fuel fund? That's why you'll see it not growing like it has been for many years, because we're actually investing that in our infrastructure.
What are our prices on competitive?
Oh, yes, yeah, we haven't actually had to, increase our prices as we thought we did, because we found a dip when we bought our fuel, and they skyrocketed again this week, and we got our fuel last week, so.
How full are we?
We are, 9,000 in jet, and then 8,000 in ab,
Oh, wow.
so.
So we can hold that price for a while,
Hopefully longer than everybody else.
hopefully.
Very good.
I know we're good with our jet fuel, waiting for, the calculation of price per gallon that we bought with our, gas. So I'll do that math when we get that invoice, so.
Other questions? Okay, August financial report.
Our income for the month of August was $124,258.52. Our expenses were $98,625.71, and our over-under at $25,632.81.
Perfect. Okay, now we have the budget on the agenda,
All
and
right.
we have Scott here, the most important
Yeah,
cog in our,
yeah,
peg in our cog in our peg.
monkey in the wrench.
So now all we gotta do is make sure that the, president here does this correctly, so Matt, help me through this.
Sorry.
So we will need to do first and second readings on the salary. So the salaries are you see the budget with 3% increase
Mm-hmm.
and the budget with 5% increase.
Okay, now one says 25, one says 26 budget.
Oh, they should both say 26.
Okay.
Sorry,
just
it was
checking.
26.
Correct that.
What is wrong with
So then, Matt, how should I read that, or how do we, this is just for the, well, I think we've done, in the past, we've done both of these budgets, and then how did we determine, then did the city help us decide that, did we go with what they said on the raises? Colin?
I think we have to do the salary raises before we take it to the city.
Yeah, you gotta decide.
Yeah, we have to
Oh,
confirm
which-
before
which
presenting.
is-
Which of these two?
So we're choosing one of these two, okay.
And that is next Monday.
Right, so it'll be presented next time, okay, so we got these two budgets, you see them in front of you, the budget increase is 107 for 5%, and 17 for 3, is that correct?
I think is that supposed to be not 107, but 17,000 on the budget was increased by,
Yeah, let me redo the math here, sorry,
that's all right.
missing a 20.
Yeah, it should be like 24,
24,626.
yeah,
24, 6, 26, okay. All right,
so the 5% increases by 24,626, 3% increases by 17,017. So, as airport board, it's our responsibility to make that determination.
so we're talking about salaries here, correct?
Yep, salaries only right now.
And we have been coming in under budget how many years? Every year that I've known that since I've been on the board.
Now, it's gonna be a little different this year, cause we put a bunch of money in the, hangar A down there, so, but this year, probably not gonna get through like we have in the past.
Currently, from year to date, we are just under 50,000 difference. We're just under 50,000 on the year. So we're 50,000 red for the year with all the
Black.
projects.
No,
Red.
okay, I see, all right.
So we started with 1.883,
Right.
and we're currently at 1.839.
And that's due mostly to the investment in hangar A. We had what other project? We had a tractor we had the mower.
Yeah,
Mower.
the mower, the
Bro.
tractor, I can give you a list of all the top projects that we've done.
Or
Field
we
farm,
can playing catch up,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, the fuel farm.
field farm comes out of that main, yes.
So, we got all that going on right now. I mean, and those are investments in our future.
Upgrading the hangar, painting.
So,
Yep.
and the truth is too, you know, as we finish this new hangar, you know, the revenue will come up, not only because of the hangar, but this hangar won't rent for what the others have. So, we'll be getting extra revenue coming in by the cost per unit increase, so.
Well, as much as I would hate to say it, I think our best option is the 3% due to the expenditure we've got going out this year. And hopefully be able to make it up in the next one.
It's responsible to do it that way, you're right.
I don't like it. I'd like to go with the 5%, but I understand our situation.
And we're,
Big
we're
projects,
county,
big projects.
county's at 3%, I don't know what the city's planning on do, have you heard what the city was gonna do?
Okay.
So, I'm happy with
That's
that.
like I am.
Okay, so you approve, you make a motion?
I move that we take the 3% increase on the budget.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
So honestly, it's just smarter with all the projects I've
Yeah.
got coming up.
And I understand, I don't, like I said, it's a bitter pill to swallow when I know you guys do what we do and you're always coming after budget and I don't, but.
But it's also important to think ahead.
Right, and to get the more revenue and then hopefully we can make this up
Mm-hmm.
next time
Well,
around.
I think we will, once we turn the corner here.
Yeah,
A lot of stuff going on.
I know. Just,
Okay,
you know how I feel about those things.
I don't know.
we did.
Does the city have to approve it after our second reading? Or,
We do our first, then they do their first.
okay,
Then we do our second.
then yeah, you just have to redo this first.
So I
page.
printed the 5 and not the 3. I thought we were gonna do 5, my bad.
Okay.
So let me go print the 3 really quickly. Peter, can you do all of it?
So we got we can do the resolution, which is the
Mhm,
rainy
rainy
day.
day.
Right.
So, is that require 2 readings or 1 for the resolution?
Just one for
Okay.
resolution.
So, I wanna read resolution number 1, authority bill number 2 for 2025. A resolution reducing unobligated balances in the Seymour Municipal Apartment Airport Authority's rainy day fund for the year 2026. Whereas it has been shown that certain existing appropriations now have been unobligated balances that will not be needed for the purposes for which approved appropriated in the rainy day fund. Now therefore, let it be resolved that the following existing appropriation be reduced in the following amount. Be it resolved that by the Seymour City Council and the Seymour Municipal Airport Authority, that for the expenses of the taxing unit, the following additional sum of money is hereby appropriated out of rainy day fund, subject to laws governing the same. Rainy day fund number 403-990, amount of reduction requested $18,533, amount of reduction approved $18,533. I will accept the motion to approve resolution number 1, authority bill number 2.
I move that we approve resolution 1, authority bill number 2.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
We'll get that signature.
Okay.
I'll make sure to get that signature tonight.
Yeah, and I got stuff to do here, so I'll set that over on this file.
Perfect.
Okay, the next is the general budget. So, I won't, by the time she gets, I'll start reading it, and by the time she gets here with the, amount, then I'll fill that in. Ordinance number 1, authority bill number 1, an ordinance fixing the budget of the Seymour Municipal Airport Authority for the year 2026. Now be it ordained by the Seymour City Council that for the expenses of the Seymour Municipal Airport Authority for the year ending December 31st, 2026, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated and ordered set apart out of several funds herein named and for the purposes herein specified, subject to the laws governing the same. That the sums herein appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year unless otherwise expressly stipulated and provided for by law. In addition, for the purpose of raising revenue to meet the necessary expenses of the Seymour Municipal Airport Authority, the property tax levies and property tax rates are, as herein specified, are included herein. And of course, the tax levy and tax rates for everything is 0. The, fund rainy day is $18,533, which we did also discuss. And,
The general would be different.
yeah, and I'm looking, is that number on page 2 here?
Here's,
Oh, I agree.
Sorry,
Your timing was
trying-
almost perfect, it was within 10 seconds.
I'm trying to save the reason it, I just printed a lot of papers this month.
And the general fund amount, $1,147,879. So I will accept the motion to approve that on first reading.
I move that we accept ordinance number 1, authority bill number 1 as presented.
Second?
Discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. On first reading. Now, I'll read. It's in there. Yeah, we did that while you were gone, sorry.
Scott and then, got it.
Okay, I'll read by title only. Second reading, ordinance number 1, authority bill number 1, an ordinance fixing the budget of the Seymour Municipal Airport Authority for the year 2026.
Well, we did the second reading in October.
Why'd you let me start?
Well, no, you were the one that said it.
He did, he was just testing, that was it.
Yeah, that's it, thank you, Scott.
He was just testing.
So we do the first,
1 and
then
2 of the
So what-
3%.
council.
Yep.
1 and 2 of the 3% salary increase, and then the first reading of these two tonight.
Right.
Yes,
And then we'll do the second reading on this after it comes back to the city.
yeah,
There you go.
Okay,
yes.
I withdraw that. Save more fun for later.
I was thinking, but, yeah, you're the
Okay.
president.
Now we get more fun stuff. Thank you for that vote of confidence there, Scott. Next item is Mr. Bolte. Use him.
Alright, gee, since I'm gonna say more than 10 words, maybe I'll stand up.
Okay. You don't want $150,000, I hope.
We don't what?
Don't want $150,000. I
No,
hope.
we don't want any money.
Okay, well, you came to
We
the
want
right.
something, but we don't want money.
You came to the right, you came to the right place.
This is not really new news, but the museum is just running out of physical space. We don't have any more room to put in any substantial sized displays. So I talked to Brian briefly about a week ago. He suggested, why don't you come and talk to the authority about that? So here I am to talk about that. So if you're interested, just a few minutes of history. The museum goes back to 1995 is when it was founded. And we had just the main building and a couple rooms, half of it was storage. But we outgrew that by around 2008, and Rose Aviation moved out of what we now call the annex building. But the interior of the annex was toast. The airport authority said we could have it, but they weren't about to fix it for us. So we said, it's okay, we'll raise the money and fix it. So we renovated the building inside, new electricity, new lights, new ceiling, built a bathroom, later epoxied the floors. So we fixed it up and turned it into exhibit space. So, but that was 15 years ago. And now we filled that. So where we are now is we're out of space. And you might not know this now, but besides those two buildings, we now occupy what used to be the old Pilot's Lounge, that's maybe 700 square feet, we're using it for storage. The oil shed right across the street, it's another 400 square feet, we have storage in that. We have, some things stored in Ron Reimer's tea hangar with his permission, but he has an end hanger, so there's space. The point is, we've got stuff all over the airfield, and we're out of space. Okay. And there's also furnace rooms on the each end of the building, about 400 square feet each. So the end result is we occupy about 8,300 square feet of space scattered in all these buildings. So where do we go from here? And I was asking Brian, are there any available buildings? And of course, there aren't really any available buildings. So the answer is, we really need to build a building. And we really need to put the museum all in one place, because if we keep acquiring other buildings in other places, we have a heck of a management and staffing problem. Because if you're open to the public, a museum staff person has to be there, if nothing else, to watch over it, make sure people don't steal things. So it doesn't really suit us to keep acquiring scattered buildings. Now, and that was kind of where I left the conversation with Brian, but now Brian doesn't even know this. We actually have a solution now. We have a benefactor who will build us a building and pay for it. Wow. Now, that person, for the moment, has asked that we don't publicize his name, but I know him personally, and I know that he has the financial wherewithal to make that offer. So, where we are then is, we need a place to put the building. So, when Don Furlow was airport manager here, he offered to the museum that if we ever wanted to build a building, we could have the land behind our existing buildings. But that was not at an authority meeting, so you can't go back and hunt in the minutes. It was just a unofficial thing, and it was never recorded. But now that we actually have the opportunity to build a building, we need to ask the airport authority if we can still have land to put it on. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be that farm ground that's right behind our buildings. Maybe there's some place on the airport that would suit your long-range plan better than that particular piece. I know we'd like to at least face on A Avenue, facing onto First Avenue East, the little side street, isn't especially appealing, but if you go out to the corner, you can face onto A Avenue.
What's your square footage?
And we would, yeah, if you go out to the corner where your little finger is.
What's your square footage of the building you wanna build?
Yeah. So, but we also would need parking now, right? You gotta park, and then you have to deal with drainage, there's all sorts of details. And I know we're not gonna solve that here at this meeting, that's not the point. But we really can't move forward unless we get some sense from the airport authority that we can have a tract of land to put it on. So my purpose tonight is to please ask for some semblance of indication that we can have the land.
Well, I mean, as an authority, we're, managing the airport, we think about revenue for the airport. And right now, that property you talk about, that Don Furlow talked about, is receiving rent from farm. $200 base with up to $325 per acre rent. So utilizing it for some building, and I don't know, we'd have to kind of figure out what kind of lease rate would be for that, or if, how we would do that. Museum doesn't pay, it's our building, so you don't pay.
See, presently, the authority lets us borrow, for lack of a better term. We don't pay anything for the two buildings that we occupy.
So, the only thing, loss of revenue
by the way, we would be vacating the existing buildings, and we've spent, the museum has spent considerable money renovating them inside, especially the annex. And then, assumingly, you guys would rent them to somebody else.
Gotta figure out,
How
Yeah, I
big's the
mean-
building you wanna build?
How big?
Mhm.
Yes, 12,000 square feet. Not less than 10, but that wouldn't leave us much room for growth if we're already occupying 8,300.
and then there'd be parking, so, 12,000. So that's basically a quarter of an acre for
How
the
big is-
structure.
How big is that corner lot?
The part that's open right now,
Mhm.
I don't know. But the building, and you'd have parking of probably 12,000 foot parking too? Do you have any idea? what you might
Probably something on that order, yeah, you'd have to almost have as much parking as you have building.
Well,
So you need, just in pure square footage,
So about
half
100,
an acre.
so it'd be 120 foot by 100 foot building, and about 120 foot by 100 foot,
parking.
parking, which would be just over half an acre. So loss of revenue. But if you include that grassy area by the buildings already existing there, it's not being farmed right now anyway,
No,
that will be decreased probably to quarter acre, something like that.
yeah, so that wouldn't cost any money.
No, there
That
wouldn't
would
be-
put
there wouldn't
Lots
be.
of revenue.
There wouldn't be much loss of revenue.
I was just
$50
thinking,
a year.
if we could fit that whole thing in that one area, but I doubt that's gonna fit in that one little.
Yeah, it'll
section.
probably, to square it out, cause it's not gonna be a long
Right.
shotgun building.
It's not gonna be linear, yeah, it's not gonna be a linear situation.
You know, but the loss of revenue to me sounds minimal.
Yeah.
And the opportunity to have a new building
Yeah.
built by someone
Well-
here, and again, enhances our airport.
I move that we, work with,
That corner lot is roughly 10,400 square feet.
Okay, so
I'm
you
just saying,
That corner lot
yeah,
on the east side of that last building is roughly 10,400 square feet.
gosh, you measure fast. Did you run out there and do that?
yeah, yeah,
I tried.
go trees.
You ran around it and just watched the thing, said, okay,
Through it.
that's how much.
so
Through a tape
as
measure.
you said, it's about half
Yeah,
of what we
yeah.
would need.
So, yeah, easy, I would say. We probably just need a motion to pursue or to support
Yeah.
this idea. I think
Yeah,
that,
I think
that'd
that'd
be
be
appropriate.
I move that we support the idea of getting the airport, the airport museum, into that one section of property as discussed.
And it'll be right there beside where you are, and it'll be easy to move stuff in, and there you go.
Okay, thanks.
Second.
And that
Got a motion and second, is there any other questions for discussion?
discussion would be, that lot would not be affecting any agricultural property.
Correct.
Mhm.
The lot. yeah,
The lot
grass.
the lot that I just measured was not on agricultural
But
property.
we'll need some for
We'll need
parking, we'll
parking.
probably need to absorb some into that
Okay.
area. But as we discussed while you were gone,
That would
the
be
cost
such
of
a
that is
minimal-
gonna be probably like $60 a year,
Okay,
so minimal
So,
for what it will do for the airport, I think.
I think it's a good idea.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There you go, Mr. Mulkey.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Okay, time rollover, talking about, comp time and. Is that right?
Vacation, yeah.
Vacation time,
Tom,
comp
Tom
time.
and vacation, Tom brought up the fact that, in the aspect as, in his position and mine, we aren't able to get away from the airport.
Right.
As much time that's been given. So, I know he talked to you about it as well. Do you wanna chime in what he stated to you, or?
No, it's been too long.
Okay,
Hell, I don't
So-
remember, I'm only supposed to do one reading, we talked about that when the meeting started,
right?
so I'm gonna let you carry this one.
Okay, perfect. So basically, we're at the point that we don't want to lose the time, because, we work here and we can't, in our positions, we can't just, use 3 weeks at a time to get rid of the time that we've worked. And so we come to the board to see if they would actually, incorporate a possibility of rolling over that time rather than losing it, depicting on those hours that have already been worked.
So,
You're looking at a certain amount, like,
so currently comp time rollover is 40 hours, vacations, use it or you lose it.
Yeah, that's, no.
What's reasonable, Scott? You're in the business
With,
more.
being in state government, you can roll over all your vacation, your sick, your personal just carries on. Then when you leave employment, you can only take so much off. Or you can start burning it before you go, but you can only get paid for so much. And if that's something that I have always disagreed with on the use it or lose it situation, is the fact that we're not big enough of an operation where we can do.
We don't have people to fill in when it's.
Exactly, so, now the comp time, yeah, that needs to be, the way we do it with the state is basically you can use it within the next pay period. But if you go up to 40 hours, I think that's ample for comp time, but I think everything else should be indefinite. You earned it, this use it or lose it,
So our comp time is earned,
right,
none of it's given, we can, so currently carry over 40.
yeah. I say we
Tom,
keep,
I think, what's Tom currently at?
I think 158 hours.
Okay.
comp time?
Yeah, it's just extra that we've worked and
No, it's not,
Yeah,
I
it
doubt
is.
that you guys have earned it.
it is, worked.
How do you handle, here's the thing, they're here because they wanna do the job,
Right, and
Yeah.
we need them here.
and we need them here,
yeah,
so they
I-
don't
Well,
take
it's
the
just in
time
our
off.
it's just in our aspect, we can't,
I,
we can't
yeah,
just
no,
leave.
you can't just take off, and use all that, like I say, we need to have it set though, if they leave employment, they don't get compensated for any of their comp time. And you get paid for, I believe, 30 days of your vacation,
Up to 30 days.
up to 30 days.
Brian, are you acquainted with any of this?
no, we don't have comp time.
Yeah, our,
But we're only, in my business, we're only allowed to roll over 40 hours, and that's vacation time.
Well, see, our comp time is not paid. Comp time is earned
Right.
by not getting extra pay from overtime, which I'm the only exempt employee. I don't earn any overtime or anything, but comp time is earned by not taking extra pay for that paycheck.
Yeah, I think that accumulating is great, that's people staying,
Yeah.
working an extra mile.
yeah, I just say I would say that they are allowed to roll over all of their time, comp and regular, but upon separation, you lose all your comp time. You get no compensation for comp time.
And vacation up to 30 days.
And vacation up to 30 days, and you don't get compensated for sick or personal.
Our current, we do have a sick buyback.
Okay,
It's over 400 hours, I believe, for us. and
that's,
420.
well, yeah, keep that the same.
Yep.
Do you have personal days? Okay, no personal days, okay. I move that we allow them to roll over comp and vacation as well as their sick days in accordance, they also have the buyback. Upon termination, you get paid 30 days, or not termination, upon leaving employment, you get 30 days pay for vacation and nothing for comp.
Will that,
Will that
Yeah.
help the
Yeah.
situation?
Because Tom was, and I was kind of stressing out for him. Tom was stressing out because, with all the extra hours that he had been working, he was worried.
Well, how are you gonna be able to use your vacation?
Exactly.
Use-
We were at the
Okay,
point.
so you're gonna use up all your comp time, and then you're gonna wind up losing your vacation because you're not gonna have enough days to take off.
Right.
No, roll it over.
Well, see, we got to the point where we were getting worried because, you know, you can't just up and leave for 2 months or else you lose
No.
your time and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and
Yeah.
so.
No.
Okay, very good. Motion's made and seconded to make adjustments to the, rollover comp and vacation times as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Yeah, well, if we need to work through some stuff with
We're
verbiage.
just saying if that's not accounted in the budget, she said, but.
If we have a sick buyback time that's allotted,
Uh,
we'd have to build the vacation.
mhm.
So-
Yep, yep.
So we can do a,
We did an appropriation
Well,
at that time.
Additional,
happens.
and then let's plan on that for next year,
Yep.
since we just finished the first reading only of the
Yeah.
budget.
Number one.
Right.
One.
Okay,
my eyes
very
are
good.
cross-eyed.
Are you cross-eyed?
Me?
Okay.
I'm joining you. Very good. Okay, Time Turners Building, do you have something on that yet?
Yes, so I will be emailing you, pictures. So the fire department, they didn't let us know, but they actually built an awning on the east side of that building.
Just lately?
Yes,
Within the last 2 weeks.
yeah, within the last 2 weeks. Didn't know until I called them. I know they were extremely apologetic, but the chief stated that he was going to contact me about it and completely forgot.
Maybe they told me and I
But
forgot.
they built they put in 6x6 posts, all wooden awning, attached to the actual building.
Oh,
I'm hoping that they got a permit.
Jeremy said tear it down.
Kind of drops me a little bit, but yeah, I hope they got a permit. I'm pretty sure they did, but they didn't let us know. I was just informing the board. I do have the pictures, and
Well,
because the time turners,
we can just let them off the hook, say that they told me, and I just forgot to tell you.
right,
That gets them off the hook.
yeah, well, I just wanted to,
so time turners have an awning now?
yes.
Okay.
It's on the east side of the building that's going to be facing the new training center.
I hope
But-
that doesn't do anything to their insurance that they want to get.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't know, just a concern.
But yeah, they did build an awning.
Yeah.
Just wanted to give you that information, cause Time Turners contacted me over the weekend and
They
sent me
said thank you.
pictures.
Thank you.
Right, so they sent pictures, and so I will just, do my due diligence and
Okay.
Well,
report that to you.
Yeah. If it does reflect any change in the insurance, I guess the fire department will be cutting the check.
Right. But, yeah,
As he's taking
but
over the
the
insurance payment.
fire chief was apologetic, which I understood. I mean, when you're in charge of so much, you might miss something, so, but I'll get you those pictures via email for each one
So
of you.
reassure time turners that we will make sure it does not affect their costs.
And
their-
tell them
their
we
lease.
won't charge them more.
No, it's not gonna affect their
It's new,
lease,
it's nice.
and they will not be responsible for any monetary changes in
Okay.
anything.
That, very good.
We work too long and too hard with those people.
Okay, yeah, right. Okay, Scott,
I mean, we have to sign the claims and receipts.
is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, miscellaneous business from the board. Colin, you got your sheet?
So our up-to-date report, so the fuel farm and jet truck, so we actually completed a Titan inspection since the last board meeting. It was an all pass and all of our filters were changed and completed. Currently, we have, sold over 23,000 gallons out of the Jet A truck, so far in the year. So that's a big plus. We are on track to, I know we only had the truck 6 months last year, but we only sold 12,000 gallons out of it last year. And so within that, we're on a total to completely pass that. Military, the Kentucky 123rd completed their operations. They conducted 2 operations, since last board meeting. The US Army completed Black Hawk operations. The Indiana and Ohio National Guards completed 2 operations for parachutes. All went well, and they're planning more operations to come. For our, aviation update, we had our, we did get some legislative information based on our, aviation quarterly. I'm completing that report, and I'll make sure to, send that via email as well. And then the airport projects, so our based aircraft inventory, so we are increasing in activity, and pilots are adding onto our wait list. So we are currently going through the wait list to fill up as much as possible, and, you know, that's just an ever-ending process, just rotating through. So airport gates, so we did receive information, as you guys know, that we received the quotes. I personally, took it upon myself, and it can be changed, but I decided that it would be more beneficial to put that on next year's budget or next year project, considering the amount of projects that we are going through currently. And you guys can alter that, you guys can change that, but that was in my personal opinion based on spending for the airport and making sure that we take care of the airport's capital as much as possible. So for maintenance, well, for the airport gating, do you guys think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's save that for next year.
Okay, so for maintenance, so next up for maintenance is bird control for the blue hanger. So that project, will be coming up during the winter time. We are looking into a plow for the skid steer. This will specifically be for aircraft hangars and the flight line. We don't have a plow for the skid steer, wanted to bring that up to the board first before winter time. Tom deemed that as, would be pretty important and effective, to take care of the actual hangar entrances on the flight line.
Do you have a cost for that, Colin?
It was just over 6,000. And it's one of those Vs that's fully operational and movable. But I will, get the final quote and his information before any decisions are made. So, as you guys know, that the new reflectors for the grass strip were delivered. So we are most likely starting that project within the next few weeks before winter time and the ground gets really hard. So our, maintenance for the airport assets, the maintenance equipment is looking really great. One thing that we want to complete, as a big maintenance project, not necessarily cost-wise, but we would like to get rock on the AWAS road. We were, notified by our AWAS inspectors with FAA that road, is starting to become insignificant, basically. All the rock that used to be there is gone now, and Tom is currently getting information based on, the rock that we need out there. He was thinking around 120 tons, just based on, the distance and the amount of property for that AWAS road.
Have we got anything, we've used that, asphalt that they chewed up before on the road going south. I don't forget any opportunity to get some of that, recycled asphalt. Let's
Okay.
kinda put Tom on that a little bit, checking with the city.
Okay.
See if they're doing any rehab anywhere where they're doing that, where they chew up the asphalt, lay another layer. And if we could get some of that and use that, cause that does build up a good haul road. It,
Okay.
that gravel actually locks together and almost resets sometimes from the asphalt in it, so have Tom check on that first.
Perfect. I will make sure before anything, because, he's the one in charge of that, because he was notified by the AWAS inspectors, and that road, there hasn't been anything done
How
to
often
it
do they inspect?
every year.
So we got a year.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There is a chance. So weed spraying and crack sealing, so we're currently in that planning for next season. And that will, begin soon. One thing I wanted to notify for the airport is that the pop-ups on, the apron in 1432, will most likely need to be looked into. know with the 1432 project, we did have our, NDOT inspection and we passed perfectly, but they did notice that, the pop-ups on 1432, might need to be looked at before the project starts,
I use them as catapults, you get enough speed for them,
right?
hit it just right,
It's
Right.
bad.
So,
that's fun,
Be a pop strike's what it would be.
keep the
Right.
tail up.
Listen to you.
but yeah, so, just wondered if we might find the time to plan that out. Given your guys' thoughts, if you guys might be able to come back next meeting and look into ideas, we might be able to utilize some city, milling equipment or save cost.
And work with BFNS on what we can do and not hurt anything for the future on that.
Yeah, because I know we're kinda in a tough spot because that 1432 project is coming along. So we don't wanna put in capital to something that's just going to be completely repaired anyway. And also the apron projects are coming up, within the next few years of our capital improvement projects. So we don't wanna put in too much capital for something to just get ground up and repaired anyway. So we're kind of in a really deep thought, so we'll look into that. And then, we have airport sign cleaning, and we are also looking at signs for what the airport might need. So, other than that, we're just making sure that we take care of our cost and our spending, and, the necessities are basically our priority, so.
And there's always necessities.
Mhm.
Very good. Questions for Colin? What did we forget? Matt, what did we do wrong? Nothing? Alright. Anything else? Whew, this is a,
Good
like
Good
Brandon.
one for Brandon.
Yeah, we're going the wrong way.
I know. Yeah, we set records, now we're not.
This is,
That was almost a record breaker for sure, wasn't it?
Yeah,
This might be a record breaker for long.
okay,
nothing,
meeting adjourned.
I move we adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.